right, it is Tuesday, June 17th, 2025, and I'd like to welcome everyone tonight for our regular council meeting of the Township of Nipigon at the municipal office. And we're going to start off with our land recognition. In the spirit of reconciliation, the Corporation of the Township of Nipigon respectfully acknowledges it is located on the traditional lands of the Red Rock Indian Band, signatory to the Robinson Superior Treaty of 1850, and the township further respectfully acknowledges that the historic presence of other signatories on these lands. I'll just turn it off. Are there any addendum to the agenda tonight? Okay. Any disclosures of pecuniary interest? I have one under the item 4A EDC meeting minutes, June 11th, 2025. And it's just for item 6C that I'll be stepping out. And it has to do with a request for funds. It's not from Superior Country, but it's involving Superior Country, and that is my employer. So pass that on. All right. So we will start with item 3, approval of previous council minutes from May 27th, 2025. Does anyone have any questions, comments, concerns about that one? Okay, so we have a resolution for that. Oh, and I forgot to mention too that Councillor Harper has sent his regrets for this evening.
Yeah,
he's out of town.
Good.
Yeah. So this is resolution 2025-139. Who would like to move this? Councillor Hart, seconded by Councillor Westhaver. Be it resolved that this council approves the regular meeting minutes from May 27th, 2025 as presented. All in favor? Opposed? And carried. Okay. Next, we have item 4, economic development, for a draft EDC meeting minutes from June 11th, 2025. Okay, does anyone have any comments on that one?
These aren't final.
These are not final, right? These are not for our approval tonight. They're just a draft. Just to take note, Len's name is spelt wrong.
Usually.
I know. I thought I'd mention it this time though, 2 N's. And Emery, you had a correction.
Michael Elliott wasn't there. Were you there? You weren't there.
She's like, wait, I'm second guessing
Gordiel
myself.
was there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So our EDO is still, she's brand new and she's new to town too, and relatively new to town. So she's still meeting everybody. So she's learning the spelling of names and who's who in the zoo. So personally for me, I just have a couple of comments. I'm just looking at the goals, and I know they haven't changed they haven't seemed to change very much in the last several years, and I'm just wondering if that might be a goal or like an objective maybe of the EDC to sort of, they're very general goals that have been made, and maybe if there's some specific goals that they can reach towards, that would be and that also align with our strategic plan, because these were developed long before our strategic plan happened. And maybe it would help to just have some specific, maybe a couple of overreaching goals in general, and then having some specific goals under that would be great to see, and would give the committee, I think, feelings of accomplishment that they can check things off. Okay. Sorry, I just had a few things scratched down here. Nope. And I think that was it for me. Okay. So what I'm going to do, that's what else I was going to talk about. The kiosk building at the tower. I know we did talk about having it some sort of a structure up there, but I just feel like the more that you hide something, the more that people will vandalize it, right? I've noticed that our plaques or our panels that are up there right now haven't really been touched, but as soon as you go like up into the tower, like in the past up at the tower's been vandalized, cause you can kind of be away, and anything that's kind of hidden. Actually in the bathroom, the toilet paper thing has been ripped off.
Oh,
So I just feel like if something's more in the open, people can't hide and do things like sit there and scratch their names in it or whatever, or smash it because they're kind of in the open. Doesn't mean it's not gonna happen. I just feel like it's less likely to happen. And also it would be more out in the open so people would know exactly what's there, right? Is there gonna be a sign on it that says what it is, like this? Do you know, I don't even really know what it looks like.
It's being, talking with Brianna, even as early as today,
Mhm.
talking about different, taking into effect some of
Mhm.
those concerns. Hello, and mitigating potential for that kind of stuff to happen. So she brought up a couple good counters to different things that have already been brought up.
Yeah.
So we're looking at, you know, fixing something up there before it happens. So
Mhm.
might take a little extra time to put that one up there
Mhm.
when we're happy with what is gonna go up there and how it's gonna be.
Yeah. Counselor Westaver?
I'm just wondering if, it would be, beneficial to put up a sign that surveillance, even if there's not, and just to deter that stuff.
When the internet's up there, we'll have cameras and they will be in your face. So, yeah, there will be surveillance and signs, and usually that's a very strong deterrent, even more so than cameras. That's why surveillance signs sell more than cameras. But, in this case, there would be something like an inexpensive camera or 2 or 3 up to survey the area. But the first problem with doing that is you have to have the internet out there to act them. So that will be part of that project.
Good.
Oh, yeah, so yeah, there were a few other notes actually, moving up a little bit more, oh, sorry, we'll just stay on the kiosk thing, so, is there a potential on that kiosk to be able to do exit surveys for travelers?
Yes.
So people can tap on a survey or something, okay, that would be.
There was, that was one of the original questions that was brought up
Mhm.
about that when we were first talking.
Okay, yeah, I don't recall that. So that's good. Um. Under new business, in the minutes, there relaunch of the young entrepreneurship program. So that actually is pretty timely because as I mentioned, I did go and talk to, a classroom at George O'Neill Public School, grade 5, 6 classes. And one of the students had participated in our entrepreneurship camp. I think if I understand it correctly, I think the one that Sim and Sumi did and Kristen, I think was after school. It was like during the school year and it was after school. Anyways, the student that was in the class loved it and wanted to know if they could do it again. And then everybody in the class was like, oh, I didn't know that was, can we do that? So I don't know, if that's something that's in the works for this summer, like through the summer camp, maybe. I know, cause I know they choose like themes for each week in the summer camp. And I know some of them are a little bit little to maybe do a business or something, but maybe that could be a theme of one of the camps, I'm not sure.
We could look into that, yeah.
Yeah. Because and then looking forward to doing it like after school when the next school year starts. So it was very popular. They did a really good job with that and the kids really liked it a lot. So I'd highly recommend that we do that one again. Okay, so, if there's nothing else, I will step out because there is, a resolution for that. One for A.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, it was split up. So, I will step out and then I'll come back in for the 4B resolution, okay?
Okay.
And I'll hand the, reins over to Counselor
Good.
Hart here if you want, just take that.
Okay, this is a resolution where we're talking about the mat tax to be utilized in conjunction with the, at arm's length. Committee to combine the monies of $5,000 each to leverage that. To up to $20,000, but we would only be paying 5,000, and the other group will be paying 5,000, and then would leverage through government funding up to 10,000. To put together a municipal marketing plan for Nipissing. And that would be scheduled to be complete by December 31st of this year. So get off the ground running, put it out there. This is basically specific to our community. Some of the immediate things and stuff like that, with a high focus on putting heads in beds for hotels, especially during off seasons. And that would be a guiding principle for both the tourism and marketing through the ad hoc, the Arms Reach Committee, as well as the Economic Development Committee here. So that would be not a binding document, but a guide for what we can do. Are there any questions? Seeing as there's no questions, be it resolved that the council receives the Economic Development Committee meeting minutes from June 11th, 2025, and at the recommendation of the committee, the township of Nipissing allocate $5,000 toward the development of a 5-year tourism and marketing plan to be matched by the funds from Destination Northern Ontario and the municipal accommodation tax for a total project value of $20,000. Yes. Both of them on here. All those in, do we have a mover? Seconded. All those in favor? Passed. Carried, I guess.
The other 4% that goes to the committee.
Yeah. So the way the map tax works is the ad hoc, the at arm's length committee, which is the one that Superior Country is administering.
Yeah.
They have 50% of the money,
Okay.
we get 50% of the money through economic development.
Right.
So we each can combine $5,000 or $10,000. And $10,000 comes from the
Destination or that.
Destination Northern Ontario. So it's a way of leveraging the money up.
Yeah.
Which is what the purpose, like the mat might not seem like a lot of money, but when you leverage it up.
Yeah.
You can leverage it much higher than
Yeah.
what you have.
Are they gonna do that with every submission?
Leveraging money, that's the goal, yeah.
Wow.
So you can turn 10, 15,000 and you can double it, triple it, quadruple it, depending on what program you're at.
Wow, didn't know that. I know.
So.
Mhm.
Okay, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, we're done
you
with that.
wanna, you wanna get her?
And then she has to accept the draft EDC terms of reference.
I don't have to do anything with anything,
But. It should have been a little different.
right, yeah,
They should have been different.
Okay, so,
sweet money,
actually, Glenn, you have to sign that. Right there.
Well, that's first.
yeah,
Oh,
yeah, it's like you're
They're both. But
acting.
yeah, right, cross out my name.
Yeah.
Put acting and put Glenn.
And then Doris for something, right?
Yeah. And then I'll just write who voted, boom. Boom, boom, okay. All right. We have another resolution for those, under those minutes, or sorry, under the. Sorry, not under the minutes, it's 4B, the draft EDC terms of reference. So this is the terms of reference, new terms of reference for the, or not new, well, brand new terms of reference, because we've never had terms of reference before. So this
Glenda
is-
reminded me to use my mic, I only said Apple, what you just said.
Oh, geez, wonderful. Hold on. Let's see if this works.
There.
Let's see if this works. Yeah. Okay. No, not working. That's all right. Oh, sure, thanks. See if this one's better. Maybe it just doesn't like my voice. Hello, there we go. Ooh, sorry. This does pick up really well. So this is the terms of reference draft for the Economic Development Committee. Does anyone have any questions or comments or concerns? No, it's pretty good. Okay, so we have a resolution for that. Who would like to move? West Tabor, seconded by Counselor Cartwright. Okay, so this is resolution 2025-141, moved by Counselor West Tabor, seconded by Counselor Cartwright. Be it resolved that this council receives and approves the draft EDC terms of reference as presented. All in favor? Opposed and carried. Okay. Okay, number 5, we have Public Works Staff Report 2025-06-1701. And we have, oh, there she is. We have Taylor here today to give us her report. Go ahead, Taylor.
Hey, everyone. So similarly, I will kind of go through the meat of it and then I'll get to my recommendation at the end. So recommended 2025 paving and curb revisions. So as per the township's approved 2025 budget, 250,000 was approved to be spent on road paving projects and another 40,000 was budgeted for curb repair and replacement. After further investigation into the areas previously approved and selected for the annual paving and curb projects, it was determined that targeting newly designated areas for resurfacing will allow us to complete sections of our road infrastructure in whole. The newly designated areas have been strategically selected to optimize long-term performance, durability, and prevent us having to return to same locations to complete additional curb and sidewalk in areas that the budget doesn't allow us to do in 2025. It's worth noting that the Bell and Fifth Street intersection resurfacing will be deferred to next year, 2026, to allow the township to replace stormwater infrastructure underneath the intersection. The revised recommended paving areas are as follows. So 2,870 meters squared on Wadsworth Drive, 1,400 meters squared on Bell Street, and 136 meters squared on Churchill Street. The revised paving cost is estimated at $183,020 plus HST. The revised curb area to receive restoration in 2025 will be the curb along both sides of Bell Street, which will be 300 meters length total of new curb and gutter. The revised curb and gutter cost is $60,385 plus HST, and the curb around the cenotaph will be completed at a later date, coordinated with other construction being done in the area to ensure best value for money. So it would be recommended to allocate surplus budgeted funds of $40,000 to road paving projects next year to address the Bell Fifth Street intersection next summer when other work is being undertaken in the area. So my recommendation that council receive the Public Works Superintendent Report 2506-1701 for information, and that council accept the revised paving projects in 2025 as presented, with any budgeted capital surplus to be allocated to 2026 road paving and curb sidewalk projects.
Okay, thank you, Taylor. Whoa, sorry. Does anyone have any questions for Taylor? Makes sense? Yeah.
Sense instead of paving it and ripping it all up again and.
Yeah, that makes sense. If you're gonna just work underneath, you may as well wait until you're doing that, leave it all up. Okay, so resolution 2025-142, who would like to move this one? Counselor Cartwright, seconded. Oh, Counselor Hart. Who beat you? He beat you. All right, moved by Counselor Cartwright, seconded by Counselor Hart. Be it resolved that council receive the Public Works Superintendent Report 2506-1701 for information, and that council accept the revised paving and curb replacement projects in 2025, being 300 meters of curb and gutter replacement on Bell Street, 1,400 meters squared of paving on Bell Street, 136. Was that right? 300 meters of curb.
136 meters squared.
It said Bell Street twice
Should we?
in the resolution. So it says being 300 meters of curb and gutter replacement on Bell Street. that's right, 1,400 meters square of paving on Bell Street, that's right, okay.
Yep.
I just thought, cause I saw Bell Street twice, those. 136 meters square of paving on Churchill Street and 2870 meters square of paving on Wadsworth Drive. With any capital surpluses being allocated to 2026 road paving and curb sidewalk projects. All in favor? Opposed and carried. Thank you, Taylor. Okay. Okay, next we have our CAO's staff reports, administrative report. Lars, wanna go ahead and talk about the highlights there?
Sure. So, just a quick run through for council. We're currently working on the property standards for revised bylaw and a revised fire protection bylaw. So that would be like your open air burning fire permits bylaw. So we're nearing the end of those, so we're hoping to have those at the next meeting for council consideration. So we're just working through the approval of the set fines in the draft. So if you would like to move quickly on that, then you have the option to do so at the next meeting. For the property standards, just going through is a lot of housekeeping, kind of, there's more property standards related to the internal parts of the properties, which we're looking at considering splitting those in two, or more on beautification as one of the items. So we're gonna have a recommendation for that at the next council meeting. We did receive 50 RFP submissions under the branding design request for proposal. We did do a thorough review of all of them, and Talent Trellis was selected as the successful proponent. So council did approve up to 25,000 expenditures over 2 years, but it's very unlikely that we're gonna need that full amount given what they proposed. So this is a group that's done several different marketing and design strategies for all communities in the area. So Thunder Bay, Atikokan, and Terrace Bay, they've done some. And I believe there's another one in Northern Ontario, so they're well versed in kind of what we're looking for. There is a list included in that report of all the summer students that were appointed to all those areas. So congratulations to all those students who were selected. Many of those were selected through funding models, such as Canada Summer Jobs or Ontario Summer Experience. And then number 4 pertains to bylaw enforcement. So there's just some statistics as far as there was 24 incidents that have been reviewed over the last 5 months or so. So there's the breakdown of those items. Most of those have been resolved. And by resolved, it means that the matter's typically closed. So that means that we're typically going and discussing with them and trying to find a remediation where possible. We do have one though that is ongoing that we're trying to close. It's obvious that we have quite a few with the animal control, so we're hoping with the new bylaw that will address many of those matters and get that sorted going forward. And then we can look at the tagging process, and if we want to remove the fees altogether with the tags for animal licenses. And then the last item is the RCIP program. So a recommendation, we have received a 3 formal requests to join, for Nipigon to join the RCIP program, which is an immigration pilot based out of Northern Ontario. It is only for communities that are located within the Thunder Bay metropolitan area, which Nipigon does not fall in. However, there's another immigration pilot program that is not federal, and it's a bit more stringent. So this one is specifically for communities in Northern Ontario, specifically in the Thunder Bay area. And there is no funding that the township provides. It's simply that if we're within this area, they can apply through this process through their own means. So.
Councilor Westaver, go ahead.
Yeah, are there some rules on that? Like, they have to be already a citizen and all the rest of it, or does it matter? If they're not finalized.
So the employer has to meet all the requirements to be able to go through the program. They have to prove that they weren't able to hire somebody locally, that they put it out, that it's a specific need that needs to be filled. And then they can go and find somebody that would meet the requirements for immigration.
Okay.
Yeah.
Councilor Cartwright.
There's a petition going around to try to get Nipigon included in the RCIP program in the Thunder Bay one that were not included in the area. There's a petition going around. I don't know how many names they have on it, but I signed it. Going around to get us included in the Thunder Bay district of that one too.
Do we get any money for that?
No, it's specific for businesses.
It's employer driven.
Yeah.
like, you don't get money for it, actually, it's to allow, it's to fast track.
Help
The
immigration
employee to be able to start work and, but I believe they do have to be able to work in Canada.
Yeah.
So they have to
Okay.
meet
You
certain
have to
requirements.
sort of sponsor them, they have to be sponsored, they have to prove that they have a job,
Mhm.
a job, offer in that area.
Mhm.
And that job couldn't be filled locally.
Or, yeah, right.
A bigger problem they're gonna have, and going from what I know some other businesses have tried to bring in others. Is the housing,
Yes.
that's always a bigger issue than any of this stuff.
That's an issue, whether we're trying to bring people in from other areas of Ontario, other areas of the country, or people that are already. Already citizens, that's an issue anyways, but it's even bigger issue when they don't have any family to even live with because they're coming from another country.
I just, actually, I've been listening to the, what was it called, North Superior, Planning Board, Labor Planning Board, I'm getting the name wrong, but, Gary Christian is the fellow's name who comes out and does the conferences and things like that, and, he was just actually on the radio this morning on CFNO talking about the employment gaps in the area, so he was in Marathon talking about all of the areas along the North Shore, and, so it's, if you go onto their website, it's really interesting to look and see what's there, but I looked on their website, and as of May 2025, there were 29 jobs in Nipigon that have gone unfilled. Just in Nipigon alone.
At least.
So there's about 300 all along the North Shore. So there is he's, dives deep into all that data and all that, and he knows his stuff. So he's actually gonna be, at a North Shore Network meeting on Thursday in Terrace Bay, which our EDO is gonna be attending. So she can gather some information there about, the importance of that program, and hopefully, yeah, that petition goes forward. And so we have, what, was there a request to, or discussion about submitting a letter to the federal government, I guess, about?
That should be in the resolution.
It's in the resolution, okay. Okay, where did I go there? I'm lost.
And it's in the report, I'm sorry.
Okay, yeah, it's in the report too. Sorry. For some reason, this moved me back up again. Okay. All right, so we have, a couple of resolutions here through the report, the bylaw to impose and continue fees of the township and begin for the use of its property. Were there any questions or concerns about that bylaw? Being a bylaw to regulate animal control and ensure responsible pet ownership in the township of Nipigon. Anyone have any issues with that?
Yeah, I had one. but-
Okay, you have a
Uh,
question?
Yeah, actually,
Sure.
somebody told me about that. I think. The problem was that one of the recommendations or requirements was if you're going to have an animal put down, you have to report that. And I'm not sure why that would be. Like the licensing fee wouldn't be returned or anything like that.
No, but it's for the report, we keep all the data of the animals
Mhm.
and their licenses and tags. So if they're not renewing or that animal is no longer existing, they need to let us know so we can take it off our records.
They send out a mailing letter as well to say it's, I believe, to say it's time to renew your license, so you don't wanna receive that if you've put your dog down, it can be also very upsetting as well. And just, yeah, to keep up accurate records of which animals are in town.
Yeah, I think they were just thinking that, we were gonna be asking for the vet, that there was a vet, some people put down their own animals still.
Yeah, it's just for. certificates.
Notification that your dog has
Yeah,
died,
that's
yeah,
all.
basically, yeah.
All right,
Okay, yeah. Anyone else?
what the thing says to put down a pet without permission, that was, I think, the issue.
Number 49,
Yeah, 49. Like,
what's that?
made sense to me. Made sense to me that a person shouldn't need permission from anybody to put their animal down with a vet.
You're probably misunderstanding that because that doesn't sound like it was.
It's more,
I'm trying to
probably
find
has to do more with problem animals like biters. In which case there's a whole drawn out process for that.
Well, this person just has a
What
license.
number is this?
It said I had written down 49.
Think we're talking
4.9
about-
maybe?
4.9?
I don't think there is a 40.
There's a 49, abandon or dispose of a live animal, live animals, or litter of live animals without permission. So I think they're talking about abandoning.
That's a ban.
That's abandonment.
That's what 49 is.
Oh, that's in that chart. At the very end there.
I can't even find anything.
I know.
It's a
So
long, it's a
it's hard to
long,
get through.
I read it and it did sound like they would have to notify us or something.
Abandon or disposal of a live animal, live animals, or litter of live animals.
Yes,
Without permission.
Without permission. Okay, so can you clarify that without permission? From who, I guess,
yeah.
and why?
If I wanted to put my dog down, I'm not asking anybody.
You're not abandoning, that's the thing.
No, but it's covering all of it. The litter, put a dog. It's not worded, or maybe it's just not worded
Right,
correctly.
this- no,
Yeah,
you're abandoning, you're not abandoning or disposing
No.
of a live animal.
Sure I am, if I'm.
I think it means
going to have it, it's a
abandoning
nice
it.
way.
That's not
animal.
disposing,
No, but
that's having you put down.
oh, okay, I see what okay, so
You're
we're not talking about putting it down, we're
You're talking
talking
about
about
dumping them.
abandoning or disposing of them. So we're talking about like
Leaving them
putting
outside.
puppies in a plastic bag and disposing of them like
Oh,
garbage.
yeah.
Right?
Oh,
That's what
okay.
that makes sense. Sorry to be so
That's-
graphic, but
But who would
when
get?
I was a
who
kid,
would
someone
get
actually,
permission to do that?
someone did found
Oh,
that in
yeah,
a
it's
gravel
fine.
pit like that. Anyway,
Yeah, throwing away or getting rid of animals.
Yeah. not putting them down, abandoning or disposing of them.
Okay, they read.
Probably just drop the without permission part and just leave it
We're
at
gonna-
that.
Yeah.
Don't do that.
Well, I would check with legal because sometimes there might be a legal reason why that's in there. I don't
Well,
understand
and-
why, but I don't understand legal.
Animal welfare, that's their responsibility. If someone's caught doing that, little fine's not gonna cure that.
There's also other humane
There's a lot of other things.
to go
Yeah.
after as far as,
Oh, yeah.
it's more, yeah, like you can't put it on somebody else, bury it on somebody else's, you're supposed to, on somebody else's private property, that's not yours,
Right,
so.
that's what that means,
Yeah.
yeah. You can't go and bury your cat or dog on someone else's property, okay. That, I would imagine that that stuff doesn't happen very often, so
No.
that's good. But it's covered.
And then there's been a rash of abandoned animals.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay, anything else on that bylaw?
No.
The hiring policy? But did you want to talk about the animal one again, or is that
No,
it for
no,
you
no.
for the animal?
No.
Okay,
That's,
so the hiring policy, anybody have any comments about that one?
that works for me.
I was looking at the other, the other one hadn't been updated since 2005, I think, something like that, for 20 years, 21 years. And very, general,
Yeah.
just a couple pages, so
Yeah.
this one's a lot more detailed, so.
Yeah, especially with the union involved, you have to.
Yeah, and I also like what's like specifically about, who would be on the hiring panels for what positions, and the fact that we don't really need to be approving summer
No.
students and things like that. That's not what we're here for. That's staff.
If they're returning, right, we can just automatically hire them.
Well, the staff does.
Yeah,
We don't
staff.
have to,
No, we don't.
shouldn't have to approve that
No.
stuff. That's not what we're here for.
No,
So that's a great policy. I was really happy to see that. Anything else on that one?
no,
And then bylaw to authorize mutual aid for fire protection services in the district of Thunder Bay. Anyone have any questions about that one?
it's good too.
Okay. Okay, so this is resolution 2025-143. Who would like to move this one? Well, the bylaws, Counselor Westhaver. Seconded by Counselor Cartwright. All right, so resolution 2025-143 moved by Counselor Westhaver, seconded by Counselor Cartwright. Be it resolved that council gives 3 readings and approves the following bylaws. Bylaw 1990 being a bylaw to impose and continue fees for the township of Nipigon for the use of its property. Bylaw 1991 being a bylaw to regulate animal control and ensure responsible pet ownership in the township of Nipigon. Bylaw 1992 being a bylaw to adopt a hiring policy for the township of Nipigon. Bylaw 1993 being a bylaw to authorize mutual aid for fire protection services in the district of Thunder Bay. All in favor? Opposed and carried. Okay. Good work. Those are, that's a lot of work in there. Job. All right. Next we have quad council meeting minutes. That is just for information. And the next quad council is coming up
July 3rd.
July 3rd, yeah. Did we know who was gonna be besides myself? The council member that's gonna be going, cause usually there's a council member there. I think we were gonna change them up, hey? Every time?
I can.
Did anyone, who went to the last one?
If it was.
Was it,
Right?
I went to the one before that.
what should say here, right?
right?
Anne Marie went to the last one.
Yeah, so my turn or Greg's.
Yeah.
Okay,
I'll go.
You wanna go?
Yeah.
okay.
Where is it usually?
This one is in, Red Rock. It switches every time. Yeah. I think it's at 5:30. Okay. Okay, next for information, provincial memo, proposed amendments to Forest Fire Prevention Act. Does anyone have any questions about that one? Oh, pretty straightforward. Okay, nothing. All right, Thunder Bay DSAB, consolidated financial statements. So we have a resolution here to receive and accept the financial statements as presented. Does anyone have any questions about that one? Okay, who would like to move this? Counselor Hart, seconded by Counselor Westhaver. Resolution 2025-144, moved by Counselor Hart, seconded by Counselor Westhaver. Be it resolved that this council receives and accepts the Thunder Bay DSAB 2024 audited financial statements as presented. All in favor? Opposed and carried. Oops. Okay. Next, we have item D, MNRF memo for reintroduction of Geologic Carbon Storage Act. Does anyone have any questions about that one? Okay, that's just for information. Next we have the library minutes, again, for information. Does anyone have any comments? Councillor Cartwright is on that committee board.
I was absent for that.
You were absent for that one? Okay. Anyone have any questions or concerns? That one's just for information as well. Again, lots of great stuff happening at our library.
And museum.
And the museum, yep. Sue does a great job. Okay. Next, 9A is the June 2nd, 2025 draft committee meeting minutes, Nipigon Museum. Does anyone have any questions or concerns about those ones? Again, this is just for information. These are draft. It's really great. Congratulations to Taylor and her team for the all of the building upgrades that have been done.
Yeah.
Really good work with that. That's been a long time in coming for that building. So, and then good to know that the air conditioning has been put in for the summer.
I just wasn't gonna have.
Counselor Westhaver?
Taylor, since I'm on the committee there, do you have a plan for the wash on the building? Is someone hired that's going to be careful with the paint?
Yes, we're gonna have the students clean the front, not with like a power washer or anything, but by hand.
Okay, good.
Seeing if there's any other.
Yeah, they were talking about pressure washing it.
Okay. I like the idea of the Friends of the Nipigon Museum initiative. That really stuck out for me.
Mhm.
So it looks like Bernadette, our new curator, is going to be preparing a draft promotional brochure for Friends of Museum initiative.
Yeah.
With the goal to promote greater community involvement and volunteerism to support over and above the committee member commitments.
Yeah.
So that's a great idea. There's a lot of people that are very
Good
passionate.
attitude.
Yeah. Passionate about the museum, but maybe don't want to join the committee, but would like to help with fundraising or whatever. Yeah. So, great. Okay. Nipigon Volunteer Fire Department, item 10A, May 7th, 2025, regular meeting minutes. So, this is, I think, Councillor Harper is our representative normally on this, committee. Or on the, no, it's not a committee, sorry, the fire department. Is there any questions or comments about that?
On that fire department. M&R fire department.
Okay. All right, that was just for information as well. Okay, so, do we do this, proceedings one after we come back out of close, right? Okay. So we are gonna go into closed session now. So who would like to move this resolution to go into closed? Counselor Hart, seconded by
And
Counselor Cartwright. Resolution 2025-145, moved by Counselor Hart, seconded by Counselor Cartwright. Be it resolved that this council now move into closed session at 7:42 PM. Under section 239 of the Authority of the Municipal Act 2001 to discuss labor relations or employee negotiations and personal matters about an identifiable individual, including municipal or local board employees. All in favor? Opposed and carried. Okay. All right, we have resolution 2025-6 moved by Counselor Westhaver, seconded by Counselor Hart. Be it resolved that this meeting resolves into an open session at 8:17 PM. All in favor? Opposed and carried. Okay, we have another resolution for RCAO to proceed as authorized. Who would like to move this resolution? Cartwright. Counselor Cartwright, seconded by Counselor Hart. Resolution 2025-147, moved by Counselor Cartwright, seconded by Counselor Hart. Be it resolved that the Chief Administrative Officer is authorized to proceed as directed in the in-camera closed session. All in favor? Opposed and carried. Perfect. There we go. Our next resolution is the bylaw to confirm all the actions of the meetings held on, excuse me, or prior to June 17th. Sorry, guys. Who'd like to move this? Counselor Westhaver, seconded by Counselor Hart. Resolution 2025-148, moved by Counselor Westhaver, seconded by Counselor Hart. Be it resolved that this council gives 3 readings and approves bylaw number 1992, being a bylaw to confirm the actions of the meetings held on and prior to June 17th, 2025. All in favor? Opposed and carried. And who would like to close the meeting? Who would like to move this resolution? Counselor Cartwright. Moved by Counselor Westhaver.
Yeah.
Resolution 2025-149, moved by Counselor Cartwright, seconded by Counselor Westhaver. That this council meeting adjourns at 8:19 PM. To meet, take note on July 15th, 2025 for the next regular meeting or at the call of the mayor. All in favor? Opposed and carried.
July 15th.
July
I
15th.
I should have it in my plan.
Yeah, July
we got
15th,
July
going to
3rd.
the month to month now.
We got July 3rd.